Hey there, everybody. This is Kristen from Teaching Balance, and I'm here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. We are now in a new month with a new theme. It is summer vacation for just about everyone who I think will be hearing this in June, and it is the season for rest and relaxation, which is great. We talked at the end of last month or last week about the idea of downshifting and kind of like grounding yourself. And so, what I thought would be kind of interesting to explore in light of this idea of rest and relaxation is to kind of kick off this month with the invitation to play with the idea of doing nothing. Now, I don't know if that is something where immediately when you hear that, you're like, yes, sign me up. I'm all about that. I do that I do nothing all the time. Or if you're maybe more like, no, I don't want to do nothing. I want to do fun things. I want to, whatever. And anywhere in between. I would like to propose that there is somewhat of an art to doing nothing. I'm sure there's some Italian or French expression that wouldn't surprise me in the least. I might need to research that and add it in our email. But the point being that there is a little bit of an art to doing nothing, and sometimes it doesn't naturally happen because we are so trained to make the most of our time. Even if we've slowed down and are more at that summer pace, there still tends to be this quality of, even if you're relaxing and reading a book, to me that feels like doing nothing. I'm not that hardcore about it, but basically things that are very restful, traditionally speaking. And doing that without feeling obligated to have a load of laundry going. Now, if you're like, hey, don't mess with my multitasking and laundry good doing, that's fine. I respect that. But I really do think in the spirit of the concept of a retreat, at a retreat, typically you're not necessarily making your own meals, you're getting a lot of rest, and there's a lot of empty space built into those kinds of days. And it is, for a lot of people, actually very, at least initially, maybe even disorienting, because you and us, anyone, is so unaccustomed to literally doing nothing that it requires a little bit of acclimation. And so what I would like to invite you to do, now that I'm proposing this idea of trying to do some nothing, is maybe even schedule it. Maybe even if there's a day that you don't already have certain obligations, maybe carving out, I swear, even if it's just an hour of quote unquote doing nothing. And that can look a lot of different ways for people. It could be reading a book, and if it's too hard to not do laundry while you're doing that, then maybe going to a coffee shop and sipping your coffee like other people, non-educators, do, and reading a book or a magazine or, whatever you want to do. And it could also just mean taking an aimless walk without, the goal of trying to increase your heart rate or get a certain number of steps. It's more of a mosey. It's more, aimless wandering type of thing. So I think you get the idea. And also, the last thing I'll say before we practice together is, if this whole idea is you're finding yourself really like, not finding it unappealing and that you're resisting it, I would offer maybe even if you're feeling the resistance to it, it might be even more interesting for you to give it a shot. And I'll just let that be there. Because if it is something that's so against what you think you want to do or what you typically do, perhaps it would be that much more fruitful for you to give it a go. So let's go ahead and sit for 10 minutes. Now, here's a fun idea. It's going to sound a little weird. If you want to do your traditional meditation like we do, please do. You can do this now. You don't need me. I'm just sort of helpful and, a guideline. But The other thing I would invite you to do is if you want to let your, if you want to give this sit a different flavor, allow your mind to wander and see what happens. Some interesting thoughts might come up, some interesting insights, some interesting memories. It might be the same old kind of stuff that you have going on repeat in your mind, but you might also find yourself experiencing something a little different. So, free reign, whatever you want to do for this next 10 minutes, starting now. And the idea is that you're just sitting, either meditating, or you could also just describe this as sitting and doing nothing until you hear that bell. And I'm going to keep it silent. So let's sit together. was 10 minutes of meditating or perhaps doing nothing. I really enjoyed that, actually. Thank you so much for taking this time for yourself. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.